With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the Arsenioization of the show. Leader Fan Radio Network.
Okay.
And KFAN. That's KFAN. Well, technically KFXN.com. Well, no, I guess it's actually KFAN.com, but the name of the station legally is KFXN. It's a long story that goes back many, many decades. 2 minutes, 26 seconds past the hour, 3 o'clock. That's Central Standard Time. Bumper to Bumper Show is live, local, and it is on the air as we prepare. Rumors are we've got some more tsunamis coming in the rest of this week, including the possibility of a 7 to 10 inch snowstorm. Is that true, or has that been exaggerated by people who've trying to get me going?
It's always possible that people are trying to get you going. I always cede to you and my mother-in-law on weather matters, and I have not spoken to my mother-in-law today, so I will take your
Well, you'll notice,
word for
in
it.
all honesty, I'm a lot less weather terrorist obsessed than I used to be. I don't know if I've softened up over the years or I've just gotten bored with the bit. I'm not exactly sure. But I thought I read something to that effect. Maybe that could be one of those worst-case scenario forecasts.
Looking at one model.
More likely it's going to be like 1 to 2 inches of dendritic snow. I don't know.
Not a bomb cyclone?
Well, people will tell us. Either a bomb cyclone or a Woj bomb, one or the other. My name is Dan Barreiro. I host the program. Guardsy produces the show. And it's possible we need to do an on-air intervention about the program.
Okay.
And maybe today is the appropriate day. I was informed via Twitter earlier today, via X, that the annual survey of the national sports radio scene, radio station scene and shows scene, revealed yet again that the Bumper to Bumper program, despite the fact that I think we have finished first in the ratings like 59 consecutive quarters, can no longer, if we ever did, crack the top 10 primetime afternoon major metropolitan radio station shows.
Yeah.
According to that Barrett's survey, whatever they call that website. Barrett Media website. I was told today, and I will admit, there was once upon a time I would eagerly await these results. But quite frankly, I became so annoyed by them that I have not even looked for them the last several years. But sometimes I don't have to. They come to me. Maybe it's an effort to inspire the program, to motivate the show. I think we finished 13th in the latest primetime afternoon radio shows, major metropolitan radio.
In the country?
Correct?
In the whole country?
In the nation, 13.
Right behind Petros and Money.
Aren't we just 13. Ahead of Sedano and Stink?
We are.
I know. That's the
Sedano and Cap. You're right.
The irony of it. You can't even believe it.
He never should have left Stink.
No, he shouldn't have. That's for sure.
Unbelievable.
Thank God we're still ahead of him, though. At least we got that going for us. I'm sure Sedano will pass us by as early as 2025.
I think this is the highest
survey.
We've ever been.
You?
I do.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I thought we were actually. It wasn't. So maybe we have never been top 10, which in of itself is absurd, but that's okay. So the question is, do we need to Arsenioize the program? And for those of you old enough to remember, one of the great old-time Saturday Night Live bits was when, I think it was Dana Carvey.
It was.
Played the part of John Carson. And the bit was, Johnny, we love you, and you're king of, late night, but it's getting a little stale. You're getting a little old. So what we need, and at the time, Arsenio was with it. He had a late night talk show.
Yeah, it was great.
That was with it and wow, and was very popular for not that long, but was at the time was popular. So the bit was, we're going to Arsenioize John Carson. Came out with a different look, blah, blah, tried to with it and wow it, tried to change his cadence, tried to change his vernacular. It was a hilarious skit. Very well done. Carcinio, that's right. Yep. And I don't know if Carson ever responded to it or had fun with it. Knowing the way he operated, I'm guessing he wouldn't have done that publicly. I don't know. But is it possible that it's time to Arsenioize the Bumper to Bumper program? And I start by wondering whether we do officially need to rename the show. We've kidded about over the last, a couple years. We've talked about alternative names to the program, the A-hole in the afternoon. For example, if we officially change the name of the show from Bumper to Bumper to A-hole in the afternoon, do you think we would immediately rocket up at least 5 or 6 spots into the top 10?
Not really. I'm looking at the names of the shows, and no one is really quite that dramatic. It's a lot of just last names. There's G-Bag Nation.
Oh.
There's the Hard
What?
Line.
G-Bag Nation is the name of a show?
G-Bag Nation. Yeah, where are they out of? They're out of Dallas, 105.3. There's 5 of them
What
there.
does that even mean?
I don't know.
G-Bag Nation is the name of the show.
Yes.
Well, that will tell you that we need to come up with something goofy like that.
Yeah.
We've talked about being the afternoon beast from time to time. Would it help us if we were the beast? Would it help us if we were the a-hole in the afternoon? Afternoon Aardvark. Would that help us if we made it?
No. I think calling us the Aardvark, we're out of the rankings completely.
You're probably
I don't think that's Arsenioizing the program.
You might be right. I don't know. So
Burns and Gambo.
So those are just names of the individuals.
All of these are just names. So do we need to go
with Barreiro?
Yeah.
That's not, but the name's not catchy enough. Should I change it to Bar?
What if we just do Dan and Barreiro? And then there's 2 people on it.
Make it, and it'll seem like there's 2 people.
Yeah.
And for the average broad programmer who gets to vote on this nonsense, then they go, well, kind of weightier because there's 2 people. Yeah, you might be right.
I think that's just looking at the names. I mean, even Sedano, he's got Cap. Sedano and Cap.
How about
who looks ridiculous, by the way?
Does he really?
In the picture that they've taken.
Cap?
Yeah. I don't know who Cap is.
How about
Sedano looks sharp.
Bump and the Pup? Would that be good? Bump and the Pup?
We should think about that.
Bump and the Pup.
Bump and the Pup. Huh, no one's ever thought of that before.
Or maybe we just go Barreiro and the Pup. I don't know. Maybe again you introduce the notion of a second presence, and then you give that person a goofball name. You were many years ago on the Paul Allen Project. You were the Pup, right? So it was PA and the Pup.
So many years ago now that it'd have to be Barreiro and Old Yeller.
How about, as Willow Mark Rosen's cat guy suggests, B-Dog and the Pup?
B-Dog.
B-Dog and the Pup has possibilities.
What about B-Dog Nation?
Oh, B-Dog Nation.
Barreiro Nation.
How about Afternoon Ard Snark? It's clever for us, but these programming directors aren't that clever. No offense to any of them, but they're not. We're not dealing with geniuses here.
Here we are.
Obviously, with the exception of Chad Abbott.
Locally we are.
Locally we are.
That's why we're all on this list.
How about D-Bag Dan and the Guard Dog?
That was one of my nicknames when I was a kid.
Guard Dog?
The Guard Dog.
Was it?
Yeah, and then that just got shortened to Dog. So people did call me Dog.
Okay.
I didn't think about that until just now. They did call me that.
Bar and Gar?
We need to break for Brian Billick.
Oh, I forgot. We are on a tight schedule today. Louis will join us early, like 3:45. And later, Kessler, with a very full menu, is scheduled to join us in studio at 5:30. When we come back, though, we'll check in with from the Super Bowl. Number 59, I believe it's 59 that will be played on Sunday. And Brian Billick, who is in Nolens for the big game, will file a live report. He is next here in the Fan.
O'Reilly.
You need parts? O'Reilly Auto Parts has parts. Need them fast? We've got fast. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Super Bowl 59, most of you know by now, is set. It will be played Sunday, probably starting around 5:15, 5:20, or even later, depending on production challenges. And it matches the Kansas City Chiefs going for their third in a row, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Brian Billick is already in New Orleans. He is brought to us today by X-Tech Shoulder Pads, the number one pad in football. You can learn more at xtechpads.com. And we'll get into more detail about Mr. Billick's interest in that particular enterprise, because I think it's near and dear to his heart. But as we say hi to him via the Connecticut Water Systems hotline, I do want to talk football to start the deal. Good to chat with you. Let me ask you, I know we've talked about your own Super Bowl experiences before, but when you look back on your Super Bowl week, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, that's the key for all the teams that come in here for the Super Bowl, because the fact that it is different than any other week you've experienced. That's the challenge for a coach, is that how do I create normalcy so that my players can get into that normal preparation rhythm that you have getting ready for a game, and getting them ready for a game that at the end of the day, regardless of all the peripheral things around it, is another game. It's like every other game they've played, not accounting for the consequences and what all that means, but the game itself. So that's really the challenge. How do I create normalcy beginning today on Wednesday? Because today is when they go back to work. So they got in here on Sunday and Monday, and all the crazy things that go along with the Super Bowl. You just kind of let that play out. But now, beginning on Wednesday, you, as a coach, you try to create as much of a normal routine as you possibly can, just so it has a certain familiarity to it.
Okay, so as you look back on it, I think we've talked about this before, but maybe not. I in my mind's eye, I seem to remember that some coaches, if they're honest, say, look, we really tried to get almost all our important work done the week before we had to descend upon the madness. And you still obviously practice and you try to remind your players of certain things, but that there isn't really that much many coaches expect they can get accomplished starting today, that we're cramming stuff in for the week before we get here. Is that true? Was that the way you approached it, or not so much?
Yeah, and that's the way that I was advised to approach it. Mm-hmm. That's the way we did it, in that you conducted last week, the early part of the week, it's all administrative. Hey, get your ticket and travel and all that stuff out of the way, so that when you came back in, we came back in on a Thursday, and we installed the game Thursday through Saturday, and didn't really practice much, walkthroughs, whatever. You want to physically kind of take it off and relax. But you installed the game plan as though you were going to play on Sunday. And that's so that then when you get into the city and with all the things that are going on, you then get back to practice, where we actually put the pads on, tried to get our pads back underneath us, added a little physicality just to get back into that rhythm, but you're polishing up the game plan. And you leave it at that. The other bit of advice that I give and that I got was, once you get the game plan set, leave it there. Mm. Because with that extra time, we coaches, we love a vacuum.
Yes.
We'll fill it up. And but we can do this, and let's rethink that, and you end up changing game plan a dozen different times and coming back to the original game plan you had in mind. So, and plus you want the players to get a sense. If they all of a sudden, beginning today, see a bunch of changes in the game plan that they had put in previously, then they start to think, ooh, these guys are panicked. This is not good, and it belies that normalcy that I'm talking about.
Let's bring it forward to this week. One of the interesting storylines that has developed basically since the title round weekend is the number of people who apparently are bored with or tired of or apparently can't stand the Kansas City Chiefs. And I guess I know familiarity, sometimes breeds contempt. But Brian, for the like of me, I just can't figure out why. I don't think they're a particularly non-likable team. I think their coach, I'm sure he's got an ego, but it's not like he's out there all the time. They're trying to do something that's never been done. So why do you think this has become a storyline? Are there so many people rolling their eyes at the Kansas City Chiefs being back in the Super Bowl?
Well, it goes back to why do people hate the Yankees? Why do people hate the Boston Celtics when they were on all those runs? The teams, those dominant teams that if you're not a specific fan of that team, I can see where you can kind of get tired of it. I want something new. I don't want to think that there's a team that's dominant, because that means the rest of the league and the rest of the season really didn't mean much. I think that is a little bit different because Patrick Mahomes is such an intriguing figure. And you're right, Andy Reid's a good guy. And the idea of, wow, a three-peat could be kind of neat.
Yeah.
Something that we haven't seen before. I think they embrace that a little bit. People might. But I think so. It's also, I'm tired of it. I want to see something different. That's why, you like I said, the Yankees or the Celtics or whatever dynasty that had that run, the Patriots for a while. It's like, I'm kind of tired of it. I'm tired of seeing their faces and hearing the whole thing. Let's do something different.
Who wins and why?
Interesting. Great matchup. One of the things you always look at is, okay, who can handle the unique circumstances of the week? Well, they both have a pedigree. They both are used to it, so that's really not a factor. The fact that they're both the fact that Kansas City, their personality, even though it's still Patrick Mahomes and how great he is, they have won by playing great defense and running the ball, and along with obviously what Patrick Mahomes does. That's why they've won. Their margins have been so small, where before the old Kansas City teams were blowing people out and throwing the ball all over the place. Well, they won this year on a more disciplined game plan, and the margins were tighter, 3, 4, 7 points. And that's what they'll bring into this game. Philadelphia is the most physical team that I think Kansas City will face. They're capable of keeping up with Kansas City, of pounding away, obviously, with Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. And I think defensively, they'll do a good job with their standard spacing fronts of limiting the run game of Kansas City. You got to take away Kelsey, like we saw last week with Buffalo, and basically say, okay, if you can't run on us and we're going to double and take away Kelsey, can you beat us with these other guys and Mahomes running around? So it's going to be a good game. I think Philadelphia is good enough to do it. But the problem is, I can sit here and lay out, well, Philadelphia, that 7-man front is excellent. Yeah, but it's Patrick Mahomes. But they're going to run the ball and take what? Yeah, but it's Patrick Mahomes. Well, they can get vertical and A.J. Brown. They can come up. Yeah, but it's Patrick Mahomes. That's just the qualifier that if you're betting, that's what you're going to struggle with right now. I think Philadelphia can win. I think they will win. But it's Patrick Mahomes.
I think that's very well stated. One more question before we talk about X-Tech shoulder pads. Should the Vikings do everything in their power to bring Sam Darnold back?
Well, meaning how much do we pay him?
Yeah.
That's the multi-$100 million question, and they're the ones that can only answer it. I mean, he's got a great story. And what he did this year, at the end of the day, you've got to ask yourself, and it was the same question we asked of Sam Darnold when he came out in the draft, and I don't want to knock him, but the question was, can he really be the big-time player in the big-time moments? He's been in the profile at USC, and so he knows what that is. So, but can he produce? Is he that good to be one of those guys? And that's the question they have to answer. The other question is, okay, if not, then what? Then we got to go. Art Rooney had the classic statement was, I don't mind overplaying for good players. I just don't want to overpay for bad players. And not that Sam Darnold is bad, but are you comfortable enough with him in being the answer? You can win games with him. in paying him the number that you're going to have to pay him, unless they can get by with one of those contracts that look really, really good, but are really protect the club with different options, and he can get that huge payday like all the really great quarterbacks, but there's some way out of it. It's likely to be that kind of contract if he wants to sign it, and I'm not sure he can get better from anybody else.
My sources say that for the first time, X-Tech will have youth pads available for the 2025 season. Tell me all about, refresh the memory of our listeners, because they've heard you talk about X-Tech shoulder pads before.
Yeah. I'm really excited about that. X-Tech been at it for 13 years. We're the number one pad in all pro football, major college, and even high schools now, the major high schools. I'm really excited about us getting down into the youth pads because I have two grandsons, 12 and 9, and they're playing. And the pads that they're playing with now, borderline, I may not let them play. You might as well take a couple of rolled up T-shirts and put it on their shoulders for all the protection they get. X-Tech pad is the cutting edge of technology in pads. It's the best protection for our young people in this great game. People need to check it out. If you actually go and touch and feel it and look at the comparison, it doesn't matter what the cost is or how you can get it, you're going to put these young people in X-Tech pads. That's what my grandkids are in. And I can't give you any better affirmation of it than that.
XTechPads.com is where folks can get more information. Be safe. It's New Orleans, man. Well, this isn't your first rodeo, but try to stay out of trouble because New Orleans is one of those places where you can find it, right?
I will try real hard. I'll get on the golf course. Can't get in too much trouble there.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
That's Brian Billick, former Minnesota Vikings offensive coordinator, of course, former Super Bowl winning head coach as a member of the Baltimore Ravens. What do we have coming up? Well, about 3:45, Luigi is going to join us. Louis, a little earlier than originally scheduled today because of some issues he has from a schedule standpoint. Kessler yet to come today. A lot more Super Bowl 59 discussion to get into, including some good texts that have come in on some other ideas of how we could maybe freshen up, rename the show, and perhaps give us a chance to crack that coveted top 10.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability. ASU isn't just ahead of the curve. It's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
You familiar with AccuWeather?
Yeah.
They have a little alarmist to them, I think. They're predicting that between Saturday at 1 a.m. and Saturday night at 10 p.m., we will receive anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of snow. 6 to 10. That would be a tsunami. I don't know how many other models suggest that might be the case. Precipitation percentage is listed at 96%. So batten down the hatches.
What day do they have that?
They have it starting like early Saturday morning at like 1 in the morning Saturday.
Yeah.
Into late Saturday night.
National Weather Service says on Saturday there will be snow, and the snow could be heavy at times.
Oh, okay. Well, they're too equivocating. It's like they're afraid. Take a stand. You know, I mean, they're completely covered. Well, it could be heavy, might not be heavy. You know, at least AccuWeather is taking a stand. I mean, they may get nailed on it, but I mean, isn't that a little bit soft?
1 to 3 inches Friday night, apparently, according to, well, they say possible. 1 to 3 inches possible.
Okay.
I like the National Weather Service. They're kind of like me, right down the middle. Don't want to ruffle any feathers.
Don't want to cause any trouble?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not usually.
Right about that. How about Snark Before Dark? New name ideas for the show to try to spruce things up in that Carcinio kind of way. The Spaniard and the Cake Eater.
My God.
The Sports Razor. I think that was suggested yesterday. We were getting into...
I kind of like that.
It's not bad because it sounds dangerous, doesn't it? The Sports...
On edge.
Be careful.
Yep.
You might find yourself caught up
You might get nicked.
on the sports razor. That's exactly it. That might be the best one. Snark and the Snob.
Wow.
Snark and the Snob. I assume they mean you're the snob.
I guess so. Of the two of us?
There is a bunch more here. Bumping the Chump. Seems a bit pejorative.
Yeah.
But you'd go along with it if it would help us crack the top 10, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what choice I have, really.
Yeah. That one I don't understand, but I'm afraid it might be obscene, so I'm not going to do it. Because you kids, you get stuff over on me that way.
That's true.
How about Afternoons with Dan and Dinah, as in Edina? Snark and Bark. B Money in the Pocket. Buddha and the Workaholic. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Buddha. Welcome back. It's Buddha and the Workaholic. It's 35 minutes past the hour, 3 o'clock Central.
Hit us on the preset of your iHeartRadio app.
Or hit the talkback line. Let us know what you think. Buddha. I'm Buddha. He's the Workaholic. The Groveling Grump with Gardsey. Afternoon Ass Hat.
Wow.
I'd do it if it would get us, that rarefied air, the top 10. The Old Fart and Gardvark. Man. Dan, are you taking it hard being the 13th ranked show? I mean, at least you can go from big ticket to refunded ticket like the Mavericks. It's catchy, at least. No, I'm actually not taking it as hard as I'm pretending. It's helping us fill up a half hour of the show. The Danny and Gardo show. I don't even know what does that mean exactly?
I don't know. Are they trying to add like Gardo to Barreiro?
Tasty and Tasteless. Bumping the Beast. Wow. Bumping the Beast.
I mean, I'm going from not even being a part of the show on the name to really catching some strays here.
Larry Mondello guy suggests, how about Barreiro and the part-time fill-in?
Yeah, I mean, it could be Barreiro and Blakemore. It could be Barreiro and Max.
Yeah. How can you have Dan and the pup when the pup seems to go missing a couple 13, 14 times a month? Wow. Banger and Mash? How about renaming the show the Savvy Afternoon Gabathon?
Those were the days.
Dan?
Yeah.
Barreiro and the Box? I guess that's for alliteration. Bumping the Lump? No offense.
Oh, it's lumpy.
That's true. How about Diaz and Dan, J as in Justin? That's DJ Savage. It's golden. Bump and Guard. Bump and Gar. The Dan Show. B&G. Barreiro and Mashed. Well, Barcinio, a couple people have those. So, yeah, there's a lot of good ones. I think the Sports Razor might actually give us the best chance. It's not alliterative, though.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, looking at the list, like we say, most of these guys, it's just their names.
Yeah.
Felger and Maz. The Valenti Show with Rico.
What does that mean?
Well, it's Valenti, I would assume, is his last name, and then Rico's probably his Gardsey.
I see, yeah.
Yeah.
And Rico?
So the Barreiro Show with Gardsey.
The Candleman and the Overworked. The Ticket and the Stub. Jeez.
Man, I'm really
you're taking it on the chin, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, strays is light.
I don't think they mean any of it in an evil,
I think they do.
Malignant way. They're just looking for cleverness of some sort.
I think they're just being mean. It's not clever.
Kojak and the Tootsie Pop.
Who's who?
Well, I've got to be Kojak because you have hair.
Oh.
See? So I'm Kojak.
That's a reference there. Gotcha.
The Candlelight Commute. Good alliteration. The Sports Razor. We cut through the BS. Oh, there's your second line.
Yeah. We tired of the BS.
Yeah. Check in on the Sports Razor. Afternoons, Minneapolis, St. Paul, 3 to 6:30. Or on iHeartRadio.
Think that's better than Ike, Spike, and Fritz? That's
Are you
WIP.
serious?
Well, that's who it is. There's Ike, there's Spike, and then there's Fritz. Michael K. Show, that's pretty self-explanatory.
Well, yeah.
Your guys, Waddle and Sylvie.
I don't even.
Is Waddle holding the football?
Don't. I don't want to say. See, I'll get in trouble no matter what I say, so I don't want to say anything about any of these.
He played in the National Football League.
I know that.
They're ranked 7th.
Cocksure and the Cake. Load Management Radio.
Well, who's that for?
Well, here's the thing. Yesterday I got somebody nominating me for PST about working 6 days a week. And I had to reply to them. I don't even, despite the reputation apparently I have that I'm gone every other day, I've never even in the last 12, 15 years taken my whole 4 weeks of vacation. I haven't. Abbott will confirm it. So I don't even, where does this, I guess it's the bit to a certain extent. You take a lot more time than me. In your defense, a lot of times it's because you're working, though.
Yeah, I'm not really
covering
watching
the
Netflix.
other team, but
Hockman and Crowder, WQAM.
What station is that?
560 Sports in Miami.
Oh, God. I'm sure it's brilliant. I can't wait for them to have Gerald Pot. Well, that's our problem.
We're ranked ahead.
We are ranked ahead of them?
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank God. Barely, for now. Won't last long. Yeah, I don't think, if we've ever cracked the top 10, it hasn't been in several years.
I
used to get on Abbott on it. I mean, Abbott clearly does not do the schmoozing that a lot of these other programming directors does.
Which I actually applaud him for.
And well, that's the bit, is like, but you're not supposed to say that out loud because then he feels enabled. Even if you believe what you're saying, you're not supposed to admit it because then he thinks he's got double permission to not, mess with any of this.
The Drive with Sterner and Hughley. They're ranked 20th. Sports Radio 610.
Did I mention Snark? B Money and the Stiff. Man. Jeez.
I think this is the bit now.
Dan and the mystery producer.
Yeah.
How about
Tune in at 3.
Barreiro and Gardero? Change your name. Justin Gardero. Would you be willing to change it?
It's better than the Stiff, the Lump.
Yeah.
What else have I been called here?
You've been hammered. There's no question.
I hit the Peloton today.
Rake and Cake. Good rhyming. Rhyming does help too, I think.
Yeah.
How about calling it Dave Sinekin and Company?
That's in the zone.
The problem is they list you as your name on the site, not bumper to bumper. That's a good point. Why do we do it that way?
Do you think they know?
The Power Trip's called the Power Trip, right?
That's true.
On the site.
Yeah.
Is it it PA?
I think it's just Paul Allen.
It is Paul Allen. Okay, well then that theory goes away. How about
here's some names?
John the mail carrier, pompous and privileged. Pompous and privileged.
I actually don't take offense to that.
No, I don't either.
The PM team with Pony and Mueller. I went to the mid markets to see. They got some clever names.
The what team?
The PM team. So I don't know if their morning show is called the AM team.
Oh, I see.
But Pony and Mueller, that's 93.7 The Fan. Common Man and T-Bone. I've heard Common talk about this guy, the Columbus Common Man.
Yeah, right.
How about this? 101 ESPN St. Louis, the Fast Lane. They got 3 guys.
All right. Maybe Louie will have some ideas for us.
Oh, the Program. With Soren Petro. The Program.
Not the program.
Because you've called it that before.
I have called it the Program.
Joining the Program.
Yeah, the Program. That's true.
I kind of like the Program.
The Program. I don't think it's catchy enough.
After further review with Matt Moscana.
All right, we got a break. You told me I got a break. So we got Luigi on the other side of a break. We'll talk hockey with him.
Shop and Bulldog.
And as I mentioned, Kessler will join sometime around 5:30.